Hello, hello, hello out there. Y'all get in this room, get in this room, get in here because today we are going to have a hot discussion and we're going to talk about that debate and more. So, joining me today, I have Sophia.
Hello, y'all. Got a little bit of technical difficulties, and going live
Yeah,
ain't no joke.
okay, that's okay, that's okay. That's okay. We just wanted to wait for you and whoever else is joining us. I don't see Sandra, but that's okay. We're gonna move forward
You
and we're
got
gonna
it.
get we got this. We got this today. And like I was telling them, it's gonna be a hot show in here today. Today. So y'all come on, get in this room, get ready, get your popcorn, get your water with ice in it, get whatever you need. Because it is
I'm
going
glad.
to be hard. Hey, little cup too. Got my little cup too. Because we're gonna rock and roll and we're gonna talk about politics. So we can start, Sophia. I know I don't think Sandra in, but that's okay.
I'm
And
telling you, I was waiting for today. Waiting for today.
okay, so we're gonna start off by talking about the debate.
Before we
So
get to debate, wait, hold up. I'm gonna just let your audience know that every time I spoke to Lavern this week, I'm gonna tell you why she is the best person to talk to about this debate. Because it was all about, look, I'll holler back at you later. I got food to distribute. You know what I'm saying? And we talking about the debate. That's about what you eating, how much tax you paying, how your border security is. Not about abortion. No, no, no. That's your state issue. This is a presidential election. And I just had to say, every time it was like, Sophia, I got you, but I got to go distribute this food. So I'm going to holler at you. So we're going to talk about the economics and everything else that Kamala just was like, ooh, ooh.
you're right. For those that do not know me, don't know of anything, let me start by telling you. For well, first of all of my life, I always enjoyed helping people, even as a young kid. I worked with the seniors in my community, helping them clean up the house, helping them cut the grass. So I always had a heart for the people. So, um, over 25 years of my life, I've worked very closely with the underserved population, providing food for over several thousand households monthly right here in Miami, Florida. And a lot of for the demographics, a lot of them are homeless. We also have a lot of disabled people that are on walkers and wheelchairs. A lot of the seniors are raising their grandkids, trying to figure out how they're going to pay their rent. I got an echo for some reason. Trying to figure out how they're going to pay their rent and how they're just going to make ends meet. Okay. So we also have a lot of young mothers that are homeless.
Yes.
Some of them
Yep.
have like 9 kids and they're just 30 years old.
Yep.
And people in the hood, hold on a minute.
You just so powerful.
I know, right? I know, right? People in the hood, when you're dealing with people in the hood, they come with a different attitude, okay? Because these are people that have been through a lot. They have been rejected.
Yes.
Sometimes they go places and people just don't want to help them. So these
Yep.
people are very, very frustrated, very angry. And anytime you operate a food bank, for some reason I have an echo team. I have an echo. He said, Sophia, can you please mute your computer?
My phone. Let me try.
Okay, okay. Maybe that's the problem. I still have the echo.
Muted.
Anytime you're working with people, right, from those demographics, you can't be soft because when they come to you for help, they are angry because a lot of people play the zip code game. And
Yeah.
I call it the zip code game. Hey, Liz. So what that means is that if you're not from their zip code, they're not going to serve you. So they're just going to tell you, ma'am, I can't help you because you're not from my zip code. But hey, this production, thank you. So we don't do that. If people come and they're in need, we help them. Even if they're hostile and angry, we try to work with them through that anger to figure out, hey, what is the problem? We are here to help you. You understand? So you have to sometimes get their attention so that they can understand we are here to help you. This is my job to help you. So in order for me to serve you, ma'am, you know, drop your anger, drop your hostility, so and we can move forward. Because if not, this is not going to work. You know, you got to be strong. You got to stand up to them because if they feel like you're weak, then they're going to kick your behind. So, sir, giving out food is not easy. Dealing with people, it's not easy, especially when you're dealing with the hood demographics. It takes a certain type of person because you got to know how to talk to them and get them to open up so that you can help them. You got to get them to open up. Okay? We're going to move forward and tie this into that debate. We're going to tie
Can you
this
hear
into
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Because I'm ready. But thank you for that. And you know what? The kicker is that you don't go out there saying, I'm a Republican and I'm doing this. I'm a
Nope.
Democrat and I'm doing it. You doing it because of
Nope.
that flag back there behind you. You're an American and you out here doing it. So
If I
people
went
just
out
be
there and
assuming.
said I'm a Republican and I'm doing this, come on. It'll be
Yeah.
on. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of them in the hood support Trump. And they're
Yeah.
just saying, I support Trump. As a matter of fact, some people told me yesterday, the lady said, I support Trump. You
Yep.
know, and it's a
Mhm.
lot of people from the hood that support Trump. But Trump needs to have people from the hood that can actually talk to these people that are not afraid of these people. I have been to many meetings with Republicans, and people are saying, well, how do I talk to black people? Well, you talk to black people the same way you would talk to any damn body else. That's how
That's
you
man.
talk to black people.
But word, I'm telling you, like I have to say that when I was listening, and I tell you, number one, I had to build that up. I had to build up and be ready to just receive all of that evil from her. I had to. So it wasn't an easy thing. I was ready for Biden. You know what I'm saying? Because his evil is all it's just stay with him. It just don't come through and you pause and then reach out to get people. So
Well, with
so I was
Biden, it was different because Biden's
yeah.
so fucking senile
Yeah.
that, he couldn't complete a fucking sentence. He couldn't
No.
remember what the fuck was going on or where in the hell he was at,
And he got the
So
robot.
it was totally different. It's
He
totally
moved
different.
mad slow.
Different.
But it was something else because just listening, and I have to say that it wasn't easy. It was not easy because Kamala brought it. would you agree she brought something more than what people was anticipating? She brought that prosecutor in her. She brought that presentation that she needed to bring. She brought that public speaking. But if you're in the audience and you know she ain't saying shit, you know what I'm saying? None of that plays. Like it was like the same thing with Obama. He was, he's such a well-spoken man and he was just so articulate, but everybody knew he wasn't saying nothing. He was mad crazy. Like it was just
But
a
what
bunch
did
of
that take him in the room? So what did that well spokenness do for our community? Not one motherfucking thing. Not one motherfucking thing.
nothing.
Yes, he was well spoken. Yes, he was highly educated. Yes, he know how to hold the attention of the audience and get people attention. Yes, people was really intrigued with this man. You understand? We as black people was expecting so much out of. Thank you,
Yeah.
Evelyn. We was expecting so much out of him, but
Yep.
he didn't do shit. He didn't do a
Nothing.
motherfucking thing.
But do you notice how, like, I used to get this a lot. Anytime that I would get into a room and I would start speaking, because, we have to be on code sometimes. Everybody got to be on code. You can't just be yourself if you're on a telephone helping people out or if you're in an office building to dealing with people. And the one thing I used to get a lot that used to irk me was people, oh, you're so well spoken. You speak so well. And I'm like, look, don't pat me on my head. I don't know what you're expecting when you speak to me, but telling me that I'm well spoken, if you're saying that what I said was well said, that's one thing. But it's like, oh wow, you speak so well. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then when I get with the whatever, it's like, oh, okay. We see who you are. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't know me. But the thing about it is that people don't realize that they don't know Kamala. They don't know her. They think that they know her because the media is telling you what to think. The media is giving you a whole facade about this chicken. You know
I
what I'm
agree
saying?
with her. She will do well in Hollywood because she's a great fucking actor.
You know what I'm saying? She played that
Yes,
role real well. Well,
yes,
except
she
for
did.
Black. She don't do
Right,
Black too good.
right. But this is the thing. I was surprised because I figured that she was like an airhead and she was gonna come off. So I was really
Right.
surprised that she answered those questions and shit. You understand? And she was really slinging mud, throwing dirt. That motherfucker was fighting. So I
She's good
think,
to take credit. She taking credit for shit she can't do.
and like Trump
Mm-mm.
told her, Kamala was saying that, well, once I'm elected, then I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Hey, conservative Carolina girl, I'm a conservative Carolina girl also. Trump was saying to her, why are you talking about when you get elected, motherfucker? You already
You better
in there.
now.
You
Now.
already in there. Let's see what are you gonna do for us, for we the people,
Yep.
and not just the
Absolutely.
illegals, not just for the illegal. What are you gonna do for the American people?
Yep. Or China. Or the Ukraine. She trying to do stuff for everybody else and then be low key. It's like, you know how you got that person in the neighborhood that, like a hype man? She wasn't even a real good hype man for Biden, but when the leader falls, you could just be like, that ain't me. I don't know what he was doing, that's on him. That's on him. And she trying to pull one of them roles right now, that whole, yeah, that's on him. And I'm like, no, no, no.
You right,
That was you.
conservative Carolina girl. Yes, yes, exactly. That was exactly my thoughts. See, but Trump needs, like I said, when I ride through the hood, I see signs with Kamala's name on
Yeah.
it. I don't see
Yeah.
stuff with Trump name out on it. He needs more boots on the ground. He needs more real people and not some little nice ass conservative niggas
Yeah.
that don't even
Mm,
know how to fucking come in the hood and talk to people. And plus they black and scared of fucking black people. No, we need
exactly.
people
I
that are
agree.
fearless, that are gonna get out here, rub elbows with these people, talk to them, so that they can understand. And a lot of them support him. A lot of them
Yeah.
actually support him.
A lot of them do, but they need to go vote. They need to be registered to vote. Just imagine You finna go take care of your business and you go out there to go vote, and all of a sudden they tell you that you're not registered. You know what I'm saying? I could see so many people being angry because we're starving. We can't pay for gas. We got to call in sick because we got to take care of the family. There's so much that isn't being addressed when they talk about what needs to happen in the hood. And the one thing that I can say is that the last thing you need is to be able to go out there and finally think that you're going to do something. And then you go up to the table and then they try to play with your emotions and tell you that you can't vote or ask you for ID. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people aren't prepared. And with this little bit of time that we have coming on, at least that, at least go, you know what I'm saying? Could we give props to Scott Presser, early vote action that makes it really easy? You know what I'm saying? If you
And
need him,
and so
holla.
let me tell you, Scott has been to Miami, and we work together in the hood to do a little cleanup in the middle of the real hood. Scott knows how to talk to people. He's not afraid. He was in the black community. He was talking to people in the area. We went knocking on doors together. Scott Presley is not afraid at all. And he knows how to get the job done. And these are the type of people that we need out here working for Trump so that he will have that presence in all communities, because you have to realize a lot of people are black people are not supporting Kamala. It doesn't matter what the fuck she said on that TV. We're not drinking the fucking Kool-Aid,
Too late.
because
Nope.
what we're looking at is her track record. Her
Yep.
track record as a prosecutor. Her track record of locking black people up, regardless of what the fucking evidence showed. And she locked black people up for smoking weed when she was
Yes.
smoking weed her damn self.
Yep. And a lot more too. Not just that, guns. She had the gall to say that she got a gun. I'm like, you know what? Who's that supposed to impress? We know why you got that gun. You got that gun just to protect yourself. But how quickly are you going to be to draw that weapon and protect your fellow American? I don't think she protected nobody but herself. They're not looking out for nobody but themselves. I don't even know why she even brought that up. But it's one of those things where, like, it's just like when you bring up Kamala name, she just sticks with you like an infection that you need to get rid of. Like, she just still there in the back of my mind, because those signs that you brought up, them just being out there, people gonna think that that's what's out there. They're gonna think that that's the consensus, that that's what everybody's gonna go with. And the one thing that you can say that happened in the hood, people like to think that we go along to get along. People like to think that if one person does something, that everybody else is going to do it. But the one thing that I can see people not getting behind is the fact that we know she ain't black. Like, we know she ain't black. So seeing that sign on the lawn doesn't mean much, but it says more for what's out there and what people think is out there. And right now, she's like the perfect enigma for people to sell her to. Like, you can take her and dust her off and put her in a room full of white women. You can take her and dust her off and put some high heel boots on her and put her on a stripper pole. You know what I mean? She gonna play that role in whatever capacity that she can, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna take her, clean her up, and then you're gonna put her in a suit. But the one thing that I can say that you don't see consistent with her is she does not exude anything about being American. Maybe Democrat, but nothing about being an American. She is so
Because
fake.
because she is a Marxist. She's a communist fucking Marxist. And she does not give a fuck about this country. That's the reason why she picked Tampon Timmy for his fucking state up. You know, he tore up his fucking state. He allowed that shit to happen there. So
Yep,
why would, if he cared about his fucking state, why would he allow that shit to happen there in the first place? He didn't give
exactly.
he didn't give a fuck. Who businesses got destroyed? Tampa and Timmy did not give a fuck, one fuck at all, about who business got fucked up. Same thing for Kamala. You know, she's talking about that's right, Dana. Facts. It's all fucking facts, because at the end of the day, this lady, once again, she's already in office.
Yes.
She's already there. She could make this. Oh, we gonna do this. We gonna do this. We gonna We already are working on the price of food to bring it down, motherfuckers. It got high on your fucking watch. Food
Yeah.
instead of all-time high. When Trump was in office, eggs wasn't $10 a fucking dozen.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
Olive oil.
people could
We thought we
afford
was
that.
gonna get cute and do better for ourselves and start using olive oil. $24 when I could go get some damn Monzola for $3. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing, and it hurts the people that are trying to do a lot better. A lot of people, like I said, every day you were saying, I gotta go hand out food. If we was doing good, you would have a lull. You have a point where you say, oh, I got some free time today. It seems that people are eating. But nobody's eating. Nobody's eating, and people are
Everybody
struggling.
should be outraged like a motherfucker right now. Everybody should be fucking outraged
Yep.
because you know I I was talking to a lady that came to pick up food yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Marguerite. And this lady said, "Okay, y'all, if you looking at the cost of daycares are like $100 and some a week. 100. The lady said the daycare was $190 a week. So if you got a daycare that's $190 a week, right? That's almost like $800 a month for one child. So
For
looking
one.
at if you got 4 or 5 people, hey Omarosa, how are you? So if you got 4 or 5 fucking kids, how in the fuck you gonna afford to pay for a damn daycare? You know, it doesn't matter if you're making $20 or $40 a fucking hour. If you
Yeah.
got a whole house full of kids and you got to take care of those kids and put food on the table, pay insurance
Yep.
and everything else, how can you afford that along with your mortgage or your rent?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. And people got short-term memory too because the Dollar Tree ain't even a dollar anymore. Now you're paying $1.25, and every single one of them quarters add up. All of them add up. They said, oh, it's just because, first of all, they try to blame that on the tariffs. They said, oh, because Trump is doing this number with the tariffs, it's going to cause things to go up. That's only the stuff that's not made in America. You're going to see some things go up. And it was just China that where you saw the tariffs going up. And I noticed that, yeah, Dollar Tree must carry a lot to China, but now that, things aren't still ain't affordable. You can't even afford to eat at the Dollar Tree right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and then not just that, you pay $1.25 for what?
anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, you know what? When she started talking about childcare, and that was in the debate, but people don't understand that when you have, first of all, they're saying a tariff isn't a tax. Yes, it is. Just go ahead and go look that up. But the thing about having those tariffs, when you're starting to decline, you're starting to make it expensive for American companies to outsource and get their products made in other countries. That's going to make it so that they're going to have to start shopping at home. They're going
And
to
that's
start
what,
having to invest in us.
of course.
And they're going to have to make sure that they can get the products made here. Now, understand that there's certain things that aren't made here. And when they talk about that too, they got rid of light bulbs. I don't know if you know that, where they had outlawed the old school light bulbs. They outlawed that, and all the materials within that light bulb is made overseas. So who's that going to benefit? That's not benefiting us. You know what I'm saying? Most of the
Absolutely
stuff
not.
that absolutely, and the stuff to make the
And
computers, that's not made here.
another thing that's not benefiting us is when Joe Biden killed off the
The
pipeline
pipeline.
bill.
Yep, the
Keystone
pipeline.
Pipeline. That's not benefiting us. Why would he destroy that? Why would he destroy that natural resource when they trying to make everything about climate fucking change and
Yep,
about those lithium fucking batteries?
yep.
And when we know them shits do what? They blow the fuck up. They blow the fuck up.
And it's
You know?
and not just that, people ain't affording them. So now I own an older vehicle, and now I have to pay a greater tax on my older vehicle because remember they got that intention to push everybody over into electric vehicles. What are the people that gonna do? They got their old hoopty that's been dragging them back and forth around town to do what they have to do. It's just wrong. And then you got her lying, saying that she's gonna do stuff to protect the middle class. We're gonna bolster things for the middle class.
She
We're gonna
don't give
make
a
them
fuck about
better.
no middle class. She don't give a
Mm,
fuck about no class. The
nope,
only thing
absolutely.
The only thing that they are concerned about is that unite party that's working together to fuck all of us up with that communist agenda, and that's whose ass she's kissing
Yeah,
because they're the ones going to put that money up for her campaign to
yep.
fund her campaign and to help her get in there.
That's why she said never going back. I was like, that's one of the dumbest slogans ever. I know what I was doing before y'all stepped up in here. I would like to go back to that. So you might want to rethink your strategy because saying that you don't want to go back, I'm like, yeah, you don't want to go back to when everybody else was leveling up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all up there chilling, y'all up there dealing with what you got and feeling and living a good life, telling us that we could go ahead and go eat cake and we could barely take care of ourselves to eat Little Debbie. They don't want to go back. They don't want to go back. They don't want to go back when things were better because when things started getting better, like I said, those food banks are going to start not needing those resources because people can afford to take for themselves. All them black people, that a lot of them that's voted for Kamala Harris, they work in social services. You cannot have a job if you don't have a need. If you don't have people coming in looking for social services, what's your job going to benefit? It's going to make them go into a deficit and they're going to have to cut you. So they're
Right.
not trying to
You're
hear
right.
it. They voting
Now,
for themselves.
I don't know if you all, anybody out there, ever watched this movie
They greedy.
called
Yep.
Leave This World Behind.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody ever saw that. Did you see that movie, Sophia, Leave This World Behind?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I had
You
to
know what?
resist it. That was
Imagine
Netflix, right?
something. Huh?
That was on Netflix.
I think so. But let me tell you, the part that concerns me in this movie is when all the Teslas started self-driving and they wrecked out, say like on 95. All the Teslas started self-driving and wrecked out
Wow.
in a certain
My
place
my
on that
movie was
spread.
old. It was Stephen King of all people. I think it had something to do with all the machines starting to smarten up.
So this shit there makes you think because if those cars are self-driving, right? All we got is self-driving cars. Then somebody else can control that shit, can't they?
That's true. That's true.
They can
They're doing
control it.
better. They're doing better. But I
Yeah,
like when Trump said we need the
Leave
option.
this world behind. That's the movie I'm talking about. Leave
Leave
this
this world
world
behind.
behind. When all the Teslas just took off driving and exploded.
Damn. Elon must have not liked that. I'm telling you, but you remember when Trump said we need to have the option? That's why him and Elon get along well. It's because he said, I understand that we need to have something, but we have to remember not everybody's up to where you're at. Not everybody, like, they want to try to change so much about what is based on how we educate our youth, how we educate our people. You can't sit to have us go straight up ahead and competing with places like Japan when you're not teaching them that in school. You're
Listen,
not getting that
listen.
there. So
I
you know what
I
I'm saying?
seen I seen some things from, I don't know if it was Japan or China or one of those countries. Okay, they were teaching their kids mathematics. They train their kids how to fight,
Wow.
how to be able to protect themselves, education, and everything else. Right?
Hmm.
They're not worried about having no fucking sex change.
I
So why not? So what the
wasn't
fuck are we
expecting
doing
that.
here? So what the fuck are we doing here? Why is everything all of a sudden about some fucking pride and some rainbow fucking colors?
Because they replacing our flag. They replacing the pride. That's what they're doing. You remember it was all about, kneeling at the flag? It was all about saying nationalists, nationalists. So when you say people confused to say, white nationalists with American nationalists, you say that, well, I'm an American nationalist. They look at you as being something wrong. I would not be surprised if these people get, now mind you, they tear down all the statues. They done tore down Teddy Roosevelt from in front of the National the Museum of National History. They don't want people to know that because, and they make it so, they're like, oh, we're going to change the Constitution. Don't be surprised if they say that the American flag is a flag of racism, that the American flag is something that does not incorporate everybody. And and then turn around and say, well, the pride flag really does cover everybody. It's all inclusive. I can
But
see when they had it up on the White House.
all inclusive because everybody does not celebrate that. Everybody is not into having their fucking kids' body mutilated,
Yes.
and that is a demonic attack on our youth, and everybody is not supporting that bullshit. But
And it's funny
Sophia,
too. Hmm.
hold up, we need you to log out and log back. Wait, is it Sandra or Sophia that you want them? I think we need you to log out and log back in.
Okay, I'll do
Because
that.
we got an echo. Okay,
All right.
come back here.
All right. It's gonna take me a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, that's okay. Just log out and come back in.
Okay.
Okay. So, like I say, everybody is not supporting genital mutilation of these young babies. They are young kids. So, I mean, if your kid come to you and say, hey, I want to be a girl, even though I'm a boy, that don't mean you got to go for that shit. You the fucking parent. You know, you are the parent. You have to make the decisions for your kids and let them know that is not okay. Now, when they get grown and they are an adult, they can do anything with anything they got on their body that they want to. That would be their business. But if you cannot go into a club until you at least 18, you can't go buy cigarettes. Right, Bree, you're right. You cannot go buy cigarettes. You cannot go buy into a club if you're a certain age. So why should we be allowing these young babies to make the decisions, and also their schools to make that decision? Because the school is not the fucking parent. You are the parent. You should be in control of your fucking house and not allow those full of shit motherfuckers in them schools to tell you what the fuck to do with your motherfucking kids, okay? With your motherfucking kids.
I'm back.
Okay, okay, we back. We back. Okay, good. I don't hear that. I don't hear that echo. So we can move on forward. I don't know. No, Sandra.
But I heard everything that you said, and that just been irking me. I'm so happy that my last kid is out of that. I'm so happy that my last kid is out of that, and my heart breaks for all the new setting. And it's funny too, because it's not about hating on anything. Because I'm old school, you old school. We had Flip Wilson. We had all kinds of people that was very. We had Little Richard.
Flip Wilson, but we didn't go and say, "Hey, baby, look at Flip Wilson switching his ass. Mama wants you to grow up and be shaking your ass too." No, it was fucking comedies. It wasn't nothing
Exactly.
that we was going to school and our teachers was trying to push that shit
Right.
on. I was a fucking tomboy growing up. But that didn't mean I didn't make that
It didn't
decision as a
define
young
you.
girl.
It
As a young girl, I couldn't go and say, Mama, I want to be a boy. My mom would
no.
have beat my ass up in
I'm telling you, I
they
was
didn't
watching
that
Car
shit.
Wash. People need to check it out and just look backward. Like for the white people, y'all had Danny Kaye. Everybody knew Danny Kaye was gay. Nothing has changed outside of the fact that now they're indoctrinating and telling our kids.
And
Remember,
that's
it
the
started off with it was like being gay isn't a choice. You just are who you are. Now it's a choice. Now it's you can do what you want to do. It's like what is this? They it's like they suckered us into believing what we already knew. There are some people that are born that way. That's fine. We get that. But they existed before the philosophy came out that's trying to define and say that it isn't about choice. And that's where it becomes demonic. Where I 100% agree with you. When you
and
sit there and twist people, that is manipulating them. Ain't nothing, especially kids.
and
Especially kids. You got
somebody just made
kindergarten
a
now.
comment, and they said that COVID was the one that shedded the light on it because
It was
that
locked up.
the light on what was being taught in the schools because we didn't know that,
Yep.
and some parents didn't have a clue
Yep.
that
Absolutely.
this type of agenda was being pushed upon the kids, young kids,
Yeah. And then being home, being on those computers all day long. They was using TikTok. They were using YouTube. They were using Instagram. They were using everything to inundate our kids with what was going to keep them from being bored because they couldn't go outside. They know what they do with TV. They know what they do with the media. And they made it so that our kids had no other options, no other way to explore what their mind is going to tell them. They had them stuck in by these computers, separate from everybody. And while these kids was learning, they had their little small screen and their little chat windows, and they was inundated it. I had two kids that was in school during COVID, and it was annoying to them because they were like, there wasn't enough about what we were learning. I wish that they would talk about America more than what they talk about. My youngest just started in college, and he's already reading books that's telling him what it's like to grow up and be Black in America. And he's already like, that wasn't my experience. You know what I'm saying? So it is. Elon Musk said he lost a whole child, that his son is dead to him now because he
Wow.
sent his son went to a university
Listen,
that turned him out.
Let me tell you something. Once you get to that point, that's really a sad thing because this is somebody that you gave birth to. This is your blood. This is your
Your blood.
child. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? This is your fucking child. And sometimes, you know, you just can't give up on them like that.
Yeah.
You may need to like give them some space. And that's really sad, Amarosa. That's really sad. Sometimes you got to give them that space, to just learn.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you feel one way when you're a teenager, and you feel another way when you're in your 20s. But
Yep.
when you get to be our age and you pass 50, you see shit in a totally different light. You
Absolutely.
see, you see things totally different.
It's
So
so funny. When my daughter was in junior high school, that's what was a trend. That was like I had kids, my nieces tell me, you old school auntie. My daughter was in school and a lot of the girls was on top of each other. And I mean, they was all just full out, just doing whatever. And my daughter, I got a phone call one day and it was the local police department. And they was asking me if my daughter was okay. And I was like, yeah, she's here and she's fine. And apparently her girlfriend in Chicago was talking to her and there was something that was going on with her. And they was alerted to make sure she wasn't trying to kill herself. And I was like, no, my daughter's in the room. She's just fine. But it brought up the conversation that I think I was going to have to find out where her sexuality was at in junior high school. So she was like 13 years old. And I said, let me ask you this. When a young man walks across the street and you see him, does he make you swoon? And she knew exactly what I was talking about. And she was like, yes. And I was like, do girls make you swoon? And she was like, no. And I said, well, there you go. That's all you need to know. You don't need anyone to tell you and try to stimulate you because that's how they groom you too. They try to stimulate you and think that they can catch you that way. And I was like, no, you need to stick for what you know, what you want, and don't let people tell you otherwise. Now, mind you, this young girl in Chicago, I had to break it to her parents because her parents was full out getting ready to come on a family trip to New York to meet my daughter. And I had no idea. No idea, Lavern, because she was stuck on with the computers, these
what?
computers. No idea. So I had to break it to the mom. And she said, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do because she thought she had a relationship. Mind you, this is the internet. She thought she had a relationship with my daughter. And I was like, look, that might have been a little something confusing for my daughter, but she doesn't swing that way. And, good luck to you with your daughter. And she was crying. How are you going to have two kids and they have the same proclivity if you married to a man? You have to figure that out. You have to figure out how kids are leaning that way. And I
and
swear to you, it's
and
the school.
also it's the media.
Yes.
Look at every time you look at the TV, you see two men kissing or two women kissing. In our generation, back in the day, we never saw that type of stuff.
They didn't
You
even
know,
show the mom and dad kissing.
whatever somebody did, that was their fucking business. You
Yep.
understand me? That was their business. We never watched TV, and every movie, every soap opera, everything. There it
Sex.
is. There it is.
I go way back when they had separate beds. They weren't even sleeping in the same bed. You know what I'm saying? The off-scene kiss where they just lean sideways and you just see their back. they put it at the forefront because they know that that's what gets people stimulated. It's either violence or sex. And that's what they inundated our kids with. Like the whole video game thing. I watch TV with my kids. They got the kids separated from their parents because you remember when I was younger they had Charlie Brown, and whenever the parents would speak it was wah 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 wah. You didn't hear what the parents said. But then I was watching something my kids called Fairy Odd Parents, and them kids was like telling their parents off. I'm like, what kind of
What?
programming
You
is
know what?
this?
See, because that's why do I feel like the black community is getting hit the hardest and the most. It is.
It
It
is.
is.
It
It
is.
is.
It is.
Big time. Big
You
time.
remember when we was
Whether
talking?
they even ever want to admit, but that's the truth, and that's
We,
what's happening
we
in
can
our
step back
community.
into that because remember we were talking about pain, that they got us so associated with pain that we don't really hold on to hope. So when you start to hurt us, that's what drives us to be able to defend. It's not when you do the good for us that drives us to be, to fight harder. And that's one of the things that they do. And it's funny too, because when they talk about slavery and they talk about when they was whooping people, that's what they figured that would be the motivator. They got us so associated with pain as a motivation that they know that it's going to get us to react. So that's what they do. Democrats are very crafty. They have not changed. You could very well say that
Democrats are
they've got us
also
down
very
pat.
evil and wicked. They
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of wicked shit going on in high places. And that's what we're
Yes.
seeing take place in this country. We need to get this country back. We need to get it back on track. We
Yes.
need to restore this country back to the way it used to be. And when we was talking about uh the people that really hate this country or whatever, the
Yeah.
ones that hate our flag, and how did we even get to this point where people hate
Obama.
a flag? What the fuck did
Obama.
they ever do to them? What the
Obama
fuck
with
did
the
they
people
ever
from
do to them?
Ethiopia.
All of them that hate this country so much, I would love to see them go take their motherfucking ass and live in Afghanistan.
Yes. Go
Go to
ahead. Go live in
Afghanistan.
a socialist country. Give it a try.
Exactly.
Now you got
Exactly.
people upset about Haiti. I was like, I watched Serpent and the Rainbow many years ago. I have good friends that are Haitian, but the thing about it is they're here. They're not in Haiti. They're here. And they're here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to escape in Haiti. There's a lot to escape in Haiti. But when you bring in the whole country here, where does America fit in that equation? Like, I just can't figure out how they think that they could bring these people in. And mind you, they're not even trying to tell them to be American. They're not telling them to be immersed. They're like, oh, celebrate your culture. Celebrate where you're from.
Why
Celebrate that.
would they have to tell them to be any fucking thing if they're giving them everything that
Oh,
they're not giving to the American people? Come
yep.
on, you talking about Chicago, 15 fucking $1,000 for food stamps, 5,000
Damn.
cash assistance. When you
No,
got people that are fucking struggling, that work all their life and still can't pay their rent, and y'all
that's
just giving
horrible.
them this stuff, y'all
Mind you,
just
they opening up schools
giving
too. Schools that have been sitting abandoned, they opening up those schools for them to be housed in it. They did one in Brooklyn, and I know that they did one in Chicago. So we've been sitting there, we closing down schools for our people, but we got room to open up school. All of a sudden, we can open up schools to take care of everybody else.
And
It's
all of a sudden, we
appalling.
have hotels and shit to put them up in too. What about our fucking
Exactly.
veterans that are sleeping in the streets? They risk their life to fight for this country, and now they have returned. A lot of them have. Remember, when they send them into these countries and stuff, they program them. But when they
Yes.
come back, nobody's really deprogramming these people.
It's sad, and a lot of those people are broken. I don't know. You probably they have what they in New York. They have stuff called stand downs, where the county will have open up a building, and they'll have barbers, people that distribute food, people that look to give them help. And the one thing that I could say is that I'm a religious woman, not a religious practicing woman, but I know there's a God. And when I think about the fact that when you got them 10 Commandments and it tells you thou shalt not kill, that's a huge burden. That's a huge burden. And a lot of these veterans, I sit there, my heart aches for them because they're breaking commandments to protect me. They're breaking commandments to, make sure that I'm safe. And then they got to go ahead and they got to live with that. And ain't nobody even thanking them. No one's being grateful and showing them that that's a sacrifice. It's not
And
the
when
life
we think about,
only.
let me tell you something. When you talk about being grateful,
Yeah.
grateful went out the fucking door.
Yeah.
Because in our generation, our parents taught us how to be grateful. They taught
Yes.
us how to be respectful. You understand? But
Yeah.
these kids these days, they get everything fucking given to them. You know, they 5 years old with a cell phone, an iPhone
Yes.
at that,
iPad.
thing, iPads, everything is given to them. So when you just give a child everything that they want, you know, you're
Yep.
not instilling into them how to be grateful and how to appreciate the small things in life, which is love, the fact that you're the parent and that you love them, the fact
Yep.
that you keep a roof over their head, the fact that you put in clothing on their body, the fact
Yes.
that you're trying to guide them in the right direction.
Yes.
Because I see so many kids that hate their parents so fucking bad, but they don't realize the sacrifice that their mother or their father actually made for them. And what
Absolutely.
happens is sad because the day that you die and they throw that dirt in your face, right? Then you got that person there that you're heartbroken because you know you cannot see them again. You cannot say hello again. You cannot tell them I love you again. You
Yeah.
can't even say I hate you again. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah. You
So
done made me sad.
it's the truth though. It's the truth though.
It's
Because you
hard
know
too.
when
Hmm.
I first started running for Congress, a lot of people would say, Lavern, I wish you would come, especially rich people. They would say, Lavern, I wish you would come and talk to our kids. That's because y'all gave them too damn much. Y'all
Yeah.
gave them everything. You didn't make them like understand the values and the costs, you know. And another thing, they don't see how
Someone is
people
at
live
front
their
door.
life that don't stay in the mansions and not driving
Yeah.
a Rolls Royce and not walking around with 10,000 or 20,000 in their fucking pockets. You
Yeah.
understand? So
Yep.
they don't see what goes on the other side of the tracks. But the other side of the tracks is just as important too, because you have to have a balance in your
Yeah.
life. You
Yep.
have to have that balance.
And it's so funny too because I have my own conspiracy. Y'all could call me crazy. iPhone, iPad, iMac. It's all about I. And they made it so big that when people had this iPhone, you the shit if you got an iPhone. It's almost as if they knew that by investing in marketing that was selfish, that was very self-interested, and then they made it so glamorous and they made it so sleek and they made it so pretty that that value that people have in that I got to their heads. I think that it's good. You know what? All right, Steve Jobs, you no longer here. They say don't speak ill of the dead, but I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone because he had these young kids full of themselves. They thought they was a shit because they got a cracked up screen iPhone. Okay, they was gigging on my kids for having a Samsung or HTC. You know what I'm saying? It was like if you don't got the I, you're irrelevant. You're not as relevant to me. And then they think that because they got the I, that they better than the next person that got the I. But I looked at it and I was like, well, what does that I mean? That I got people thinking that they all of that. iPhone. You know what I'm saying? You got broke people running around with an iPhone thinking that they all of that. And that sense of just thinking about yourself, and then all of a sudden it became all about the selfie. Selfie. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. It didn't really look towards, showing anything else. This started way back. I'm looking back to say in 2000, when they said it's going to be the end of the world, it was definitely the end of the world as we know it. It was definitely how things changed and started going straight to hell. Straight to hell. And we living in hell right now. They trying
We
to
are
put We are, mind you, do you know, doesn't that get you when they say, when Kamala got the nerve to say that Trump shouldn't be saying that we're a declining country? I'm like, bitch, it is. It is a declining country.
It's been declining ever since that toe down ass Joe Biden got his
Yeah,
raggedy ass in office. And when she got her
absolutely.
little fake collard green ass cooking ass in office, they fucking
But,
fucked us up.
Hi, you
That's what
but,
guys.
that's where this country took
hey.
a left turn at, and that's where we got fucked up at. But we need to
And,
get back on track.
We used to
yeah,
be,
Hey
we used to
Sandra,
be, hey babes, how are you? We
good.
fine.
used to
Welcome in.
be,
Welcome
we used to
in.
be a country, thank you. We used to be a country of optimism. It was
Mm,
about optimism and hope. It was about living the American dream. How many of us have been so proud to be Americans because we
yeah,
knew that we could unleash our potential and become whatever we wanted to become. But
yep,
now they've put limits on our dreams, you know, intentionally. Uh, Many people can't visualize that anymore because their potential has been limited for them. They're earning less. The dollars isn't going as far. Um,
The dollar
you know,
isn't going anywhere.
it's not going anywhere. The gasoline, the eggs, everything in the supermarket is double, triple the price. Inflation. Um, Trump, with all of the language about we are a country in the state of decline. He also has a hopeful message.
yeah,
He has a hopeful message for us that we can turn this around.
yeah,
If we right
yep,
this ship and we proceed with determination, we can turn it around. We can make this country prosperous again. We
yes.
can make hope real again. We can
We
visualize and
sure can,
imagine.
long as we get Kamala ass out that seat, because she gonna fuck us up. I'm telling y'all. We got to get Kamala ass out.
We
We
got
got to
to.
make sure she don't win this election. We got to make
Absolutely.
sure everybody go and vote, because
Yeah,
this is important, and we don't want them to steal this fucking election.
yep,
Well,
absolutely.
she has not. She talks in platitudes. She has not specifically talked about one single policy that she would
Word.
enact to, as I said a moment ago, unleash prosperity in this country. She has not articulated that.
Yeah.
Where is that? Trump
Opportunity
Trump,
economy.
for all of, it was like riding a high tide. I
Yes.
felt like I was surfing on some high tide.
And and you know one thing Kamala mentioned in that debate, she said something about the Trump rallies. Now,
Yes,
I have attended Trump rallies
nobody
plenty
leaves.
of time,
People are
plenty of
glued.
time.
They stay.
And I can tell you what, Trump never needed to invite somebody like Megan Thee
Yeah.
Stallion to come
Yep.
shake their ass on the fucking stage.
Right. There's
Nothing.
no
He never
there's
needed that.
there's no headliner. Trump is
Yes.
the only headliner. You don't have
Yep.
you don't have to invite any talent. I mean, you save that for the
He doesn't have
RNC.
to do
He
that at
is
all.
the headliner of every Trump rally, and people don't leave. We've all watched it. That
Yeah.
wasn't true. We've all seen them. People are riveted. It
Yes.
becomes like it's a magical moment for everybody, because when you look around in the crowd, you look to the left, you look to the right, people are every nationality, every color, every creed, and they're looking around, and it's like one big kumbaya moment. Everyone is happy.
And it's patriotic.
It's
You see
patriotic
patriotism everywhere.
on
And
a,
that's the
because of
problem.
a common
No,
a common
why,
belief.
why is it
Everyone's held by
why
a
is
common belief that
why
we
is it
are
that
Americans.
because
We all bleed red, and we all
right,
bleed red, white, and blue. You
right.
know,
But why is it because when you support this country, right, and you love this country, and you love the flag, why does that make you a white supremacist? That's what I want to know.
But that's just
I know.
branding. That's just
Last time I
branding
checked.
because at the end of the day, we all know that that's not true. But we, we as light skin black or brown skin black as we are, we've been labeled white supremacists. Like how in the world? Like that's it. That's like a double contradiction. How is that
Yeah.
possible? There's no way that you could become a white supremacist if you're black. But it's
No.
Well,
branding.
one thing about it, and it's just like the lady name just came up. We ain't got time for they bullshit.
We
We
ain't
gonna
got
keep
time
pushing.
for it.
We gonna keep pushing, and we gonna do what we need to do to keep waking people up and making sure that they get to them polls. And another thing, right? We don't give a fuck about Taylor Swift trying to
No.
bring them damn people at her concert. We don't give a shit about that.
No.
But
No.
what we do care about is saving our country. We care about doing whatever we need to do to preserve our families, our jobs, our homes, our countries.
Yeah.
Our future.
And we just don't want to lose that. We don't want
Absolutely.
to lose it.
And our American pride. American pride.
That.
And our
It's
future.
ridiculous.
And our future, guys, because
Yes.
in this state, in this state of our economy right now, it's hard to look past next week.
I
Folks
know.
are just trying to figure out how to make it through next week. How am I going to buy groceries? I mean, basic things that we took for granted 4 years ago when we were in a pandemic, but yet there was still plenty. We weren't feeling like we were in lack. That's been stripped away from us. It's the hope that people are losing, and it's the reason why people are looking at Trump because through all the things Trump is has a big personality. Through all the things that you agree with or you disagree with, prosperity is a freedom.
Yeah.
Living
And not just
with
that privilege.
It's a privilege and a freedom. Living to be able to support your family, to support your family's future, to see a clear path for generationally. That's freedom. That's freedom.
Yes.
When you put constraints and limits on the possibilities, which is where we are now, it's hard to see the forest through the trees. It's hard to see it.
It's hard to see the forest for the trees long as Kamala got her little raggedy ass up there doing what the hell she's doing. It's hard to see the damn forest for the trees with her ass in office. It's hard to see the forest for the trees when she around here tap dancing and lying.
And
It's very
platitudes
hard. It is very hard. I don't even know. I don't even understand how people could want to vote for her and put her in that seat. I don't. Well, that's why they had to bring the illegals in. We know that.
Yep.
Platitudes aren't
Agreed.
enough, and people really understand that because you can talk about I want to bring everyone together. I want a hopeful. It's all sort of like like a grand utopia. But there's no policies. There's no specifics. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that?
You even have broken people, not to cut you off, but you have broken people where we all hurting and they strategically chose to use joy as a part of their campaign.
Right.
Joy.
It's like the absence of joy.
Yes.
That we're feeling right now. It's the opposite of joy that we're feeling
Yes.
right now. And we understand the contrast because this is the first time that I can remember in history where the incumbent and the person running have actually been in office. So we can measure
Yes.
their performance side by side. We can look at it. And we can see that the person, the people currently in office can do things to straighten the ship, to right this ship into the right direction. They have 6 months or so to do it.
And
but
and it also,
they're not doing it. Why?
Sandra, we know what Trump policies are. We know how
Yes.
Trump policies made a big difference in this country when he was the president. But what about Kamala's? We don't know what her policies are.
Well,
She doesn't have any.
we do
It's
because
Biden's.
it's going to that and more of the same, and maybe otherwise, maybe more you know enforcement on privacy issues and
Yes.
what you're able to
It's like
say.
but I find that abortion is like the one thing that she rides on. Like, we need to start looking to see if she got some investment somewhere in some abortion clinic, because all she keep talking about is abortion. And I'm
And
like,
when she said that that Trump had talked about one Governor Northam, I believe in Virginia, that he said that abortion could be allowed up until birth.
yes,
There are videos online.
yeah,
Words are coming right out of his mouth. It's not a meme. It's not
Claim that it does
not
not
an AI.
exist,
It's a
but we
real
know
thing.
that it does
we know we
exist.
do.
We have
You know,
seen them
I saw
entertaining
that
those type
video
of
years ago.
conversations. So if you're gonna take the life of a baby at 9 months, that's just fucking murder, man. That's just
absolutely.
fucking murder. That's just fucking murder. That's what it is.
It is what it is. Absolutely. But
Well, in
it's
his
her
words,
policy is abortion,
in his words,
abortion, child care. Mind you, abortion and child care. The irony. How you going to sell abortion and sell child care at the same time? Are you saying that you got to draw the line somewhere? You're going to have to say, okay, well, let's have babies. Now, mind you, we know that there's a decline in Americans having babies. They got all these immigrants coming in. And you remember when they were saying the replacement theory? Nobody wanted to hear about it. They were like, "Ooh," they associated with white supremacy. The replacement theory is not a theory no more. That's our reality. That
We
is our
see it.
reality, and it's
We
through
see
her.
it truly taking place. We see that that's taking
yes,
place. And
abortion.
another thing,
Somebody's saying abortion is childcare. So is castration
Yes.
of a child's genitals and
Yep.
removal of their breasts. That's a form of childcare to them. If you can't,
and that's a
if you
sick
have to have a
mess.
library card when you go to the library, if you got to have a driver's license in order to buy a pack of cigarettes, how can a child now have autonomy to say,
Yeah.
I want my penis cut off forever? How would they know how they're going to feel? Your brain is forming, your mind is forming, your thoughts are forming. How are you going to know? And I'm sure you guys have seen people online who have regrets. I mean, there's some people who are fine with it, but
they're giving them they're giving them birth control in school. Now they're giving them birth control.
I just saw a doctor yesterday, a black doctor, and he's a prominent physician. He won't do it. He's a prominent a plastic surgeon. He will not do it, and he's recommending that they don't do it for children because it's just, you have to give a child time to mature.
They need to tell them to Google it. I Googled body modification. Now I see why they want everybody to transition, because misery loves company. They are Frankenstein. These manufactured men and women, they're not real. I'm just saying, I went through and it was like I couldn't stop looking because I was trying to figure out why someone would do that to their body. Why would you had people that was, look at RuPaul. RuPaul was just, he's glamorous, doing his thing and living his life. Why would people Google it? And mind you, this is something they don't talk about. They don't talk about the fact that when you get traumatic surgery like that, your nerves don't heal back quickly. So you sitting there thinking that you're going to get you a whole vagina and it ain't got no feeling. You sitting there going, you ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? You sitting there.
Not only that, what about the mental aspect of that?
Yes.
What about that
For
mental
kids,
aspect that is attached to that? You
I,
know,
it's travesty.
I don't want to put myself in judgment of anybody and their decision. If you're an adult, you can make adult decisions on your own.
yeah,
I'm not
as
going to
an
judge.
adult,
I'm not
but
going to
not as
judge
a
any.
child.
I'm talking about children. I'm talking about the children that
But it's
they
the
are.
adults that's coaxing the children, though, Sandra. The
I've
adults.
heard of that
There's a
too.
lot of
Yeah,
adults
I've
that
heard of
have
that
done this
too.
to themselves and have
Yeah,
deep regrets about it because they
yeah,
still ain't got no feeling in their neo vagina or their
yeah,
neo penis.
yes.
And misery loves company. There are a small segment of people, and there's not enough adults that are going to be that stupid. There's not enough. So they are grooming our children. These and the doctors, they getting paid. They're
Right.
not doing this for free for the mental health of people. They are getting paid to chop up
Right,
our children.
Well,
They're not doing
right.
it
this
for free.
doctor that I
Mutilate.
saw yesterday was saying that there's just not enough information, not enough studies
Nope.
to prove that this is, you know, maybe years down the line they'll be able to, make the perfect anatomy and make it
And
all
as
work and
Mm.
function. But right
somebody just
now,
put up a question and they say, who in the fuck is paying for that? Who is paying for that? Who is behind that? Because that shit ain't free.
No.
So
Well,
who's
in
paying
the
for it?
military it is. In the military it is. Now you can join and you have a lot of youth that are joining the military because they are funding the transitioning of transgendered people. And President Trump got rid of that because he saw like you said, Laverne, the mental health, the strain on mental health. Think about it. They say no hell has no fury like a woman scorned. And you're gonna take estrogen and
And
go
that's
put
some
that in a
true
man.
shit. That's
But
some
then you're
true
gonna
shit
take
right
estrogen and put that in a man. Could you imagine? And when you see these men with this estrogen and they get pissed, it's like scorched earth. Like they trying to kill us. Us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and Trump was like, and mind you, he's the president, but they try to say that he's a liar. And he's saying, I've seen the studies where it says that the mental health issues that these people have, we can't have that in the military. So he said, y'all could transition and get, do it on your own, but while you're in the military, we're not going to give that to you. And it became Trump being against transgender people. Trump is against transgender people. And they beat that drum so hard that it made people not even think about why would he consider that? Isn't that being considerate of how that stuff affects you and then you're going to be out there at war? You know what I'm saying? We don't know about all the military atrocities that happen while they're there. But I'm telling you something, these older, broke down people that went ahead and did this early are trying to finesse it because misery loves company and they're going for our children. So I know that people can make decisions, and I 100% agree with you, Sandra. I have no judgment of nobody. I'm like, look, I'm okay if you do, if you're okay that I don't. That's
there. But don't
America.
touch the kids. Leave them kids
Leave
alone.
the kids
leave the
alone.
kids
Yep.
alone. Let them. If you have to have a license to drive a car, you got to have an ID to get your books out of the library. You've got to have, you got to have your papers for a lot of things. Why are kids able to choose something so drastic that will forever
Yep.
change their lives at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years? I mean, they're just not mentally, emotionally mature enough in
Not at
my
all.
estimation. In my
And that's what
estimation,
the
why?
problem
What
is.
if it's so if it's something that they desire so much, can it wait? Can it
Yes.
wait just a little bit until the child is mature enough to understand what the complications, implications, what the future will look like? They'll be able to really rationally weigh out the pros and cons. Kids
But
don't do that.
But they're
Kids,
not because they're not allowing it. Do you
right.
realize how many kids are on TikTok? They don't have no long-term memory. It's all short-term memory. Everything that is quick and in a burst.
It's
They just if it's
instant.
not you know
It's
what I'm saying?
instant. Everything is
And
instant.
somebody's saying right now, kids can't smoke and get tattoos. Like I was saying, they can't walk into a store and buy a pack of cigarettes if they're underage. Like there's a lot of things that kids can't do if they're a certain age. And so this is so radical and so utterly transformative of, the being that they were before. Why not wait on that and make sure that they're they've undergone, counseling, and they've really, balanced weighed the pros and cons as an adult to make that decision. Then game on, do it. By
But
all
they
means.
want them angry. They want them angry.
And
These
that's what they're
kids
gonna
right now,
have.
that's
That's
why,
what's gonna
when you watch
happen.
the videos they do, they're always going like this and they're always so angry. They want them angry because, like I said, you kick the dog and it loves you more. You give people pain, that's something that they respond to quicker than when you give them love. They are training our kids to just be so broken that they hate themselves so much that they gonna hate everybody else. That is like, look, people were tripping, and I know not to digress, but when I told people that I was unvaccinated, I thought I wasn't going to live long, not because of COVID, because of people that was going to try to kill me because I wasn't fit to go get vaccinated.
Me
People
neither.
will
I
stick
was
to.
not about to do that. For number one, I
Mm-mm.
believe in God. I may cuss like a sailor, but I believe in God. Okay.
Yes.
And I believe in his word. And I was not about, if that stuff is like the flu or like a cold, right?
Yep.
Why would I go get a jab for that? I just could not connect those dots with that. And I refuse to do it. I
And people
refuse.
are tripping now. And they're putting it in the kids. So now in Connecticut, your kid cannot go to school if they don't get the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? So if there's no religious exemption, if your child is going to go to public school, they need to be vaccinated. And when I thought about how people was tripping, they still tripping. Not everybody got affected. There's a lot of people that
But
have
do they
got vaccinated and they straight.
Sophia, do they
Mm-hmm.
understand how many kids have died from getting those getting vaccinated?
They're
Do
not
they
telling
know
nobody.
those numbers? Do they understand that so many people that got those shots are giving birth to the babies now, and the babies are not living, they're not surviving, they're dying. They bring them, they are
Bring them to
bringing
term.
them to term, the eighth month of pregnancy. They're bringing them to term, but after 2 or 3 weeks, a lot of those babies are dying. And I know people personally that have given birth, and that baby was alive for like a couple of weeks and then
Damn.
died.
That is so sad. And they had Elmo telling people to go get vaccinated. Think about that. They're they're giving so much power to the people that are so confused and don't even have any kind of direction. They made sure to separate kids from the adults by leaving them in rooms for 6 hours a day with the during the pandemic. They really had an okay boomer. Okay, so they managed to be able to get kids to stop respecting their elders
What's
by
okay, boomer?
coming up with different catchphrases like okay boomer.
What's that?
They're empowering the worst
Hey,
of what we have.
somebody said where's the news on the 30 kids that were found in Ohio? But you know what? One thing about Ohio, and nobody is talking about this, there are so many young black kids that are missing in
What?
Ohio, teenagers that are
Mm-mm.
missing. Nobody is talking about that. Young black kids are disappearing from out of Ohio, and nobody is talking about it.
I gotta look that up because you're right. I didn't hear nothing about that.
I heard that they
It's
found
been
about.
going
I
on
heard
for
that
a
they found
while.
about 30 or so kids in Ohio. I thought maybe it was 300, but I. But it's reported that as many as 300,000 came through the border unaccompanied, and they have gone missing. There, somebody's putting it up right now. 300 kids, 300,000 kids missing.
Wow.
That's what I heard and read. That there were as many as 300,000 people, kids who came unaccompanied through the border, and they're gone. They've disappeared. Where have they gone? And so 30, 30 kids,
Yeah, you're right. They
30.
won't put that on MSN News, NBC, CNN, and none of those stations. So that's why these podcasts like this is so important, because we're going to get that news out and make sure people know what's going on. And speaking of that, let's talk about that situation where they said the Haitian people are eating ducks and
We gotta go there.
Yeah, I want to go there because you know what? Let me tell you something. One thing about a lot of Haitian people, a lot of them practice voodoo. And
Mm,
voodoo is a religion, okay? It's
mm.
their religion for a lot of them. And with voodoo, they sacrifice a lot of animals. They cut their necks off, they cut their heads off. And I do believe that's what's taking place. I don't think they just going to get those ducks and cutting them up just to eat them. No, they're doing sacrifices with those things.
Them Canadian geese look like they got a lot of meat on them. I mean, I'm trying to say they look kind of healthy.
Listen, Sophia, I don't know if the Haitians are eating them, but I know them damn Chinese ain't turning down nothing. Them
Mhm.
Chinese are not going to turn down anything, okay? They cooking everything.
Oh, but I'm trying to figure out how they so bold. Like they must got some kind of magic powers because them Canadian geese is no joke. You walk close to them and they start attacking you. So they must be getting some old, real kung fu going on to get them. But they're not taking care of them. You know what I'm saying? Because I put it this way. I'm just saying, wasn't it the Haitians that started tripping first when it came to ending slavery? So I can't see the Democrats trying to take care of them. I don't
That
think the
part right
Democrats are
there.
going to lift them
That
up
part.
and
And
provide
you
them
know
with
what?
money.
A lot of them Haitians do not support the Democrat Party
Yeah.
anyway because Hillary fucked them over when they had that
Yes.
earthquake that tore up Haiti.
Yep.
So a lot
Yep.
of them
Yeah.
don't support the Democratic
So
Party.
that's why they have no options here. They're not taking care of them. So if they are put to a point of desperation where they're doing it by any means necessary makes sense because if you give they're going to look out for themselves. They're not the ideal people to try to control. Like that's just not going to happen. Like history should have been that lesson to you. That's why they're not sending money to Haiti. That's why Hillary went through and tried to ruin everything for Haiti. They're not trying to support Haiti and get the resources there to make. I mean, we give more money to Ukraine. And what was Ukraine? Why did Ukraine, you know what I'm saying? Like Haiti, they just didn't want to invest in that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you invest in anything black that's going to be able to strengthen themselves and come up, then you got to look at it spreading. Because remember, they say we all think alike. We
First
all think
independent
alike, and that's
country
something
on the
that scares
Western
them.
Hemisphere. First Black independent country on the Western Hemisphere.
First, think about that.
Yeah.
First black independent. Now they here and they trying to get them
And
angry.
it's always been poor. It's always been poor. So you know,
But how
I
they
wonder,
getting here? Like
and
that's one thing I didn't look up.
by the way, it shares an island with Dominican Republic. So it's on
Correct.
one island, one piece of land,
Yeah.
and about a third is Haiti, and 2/3 is Dominican Republic. The
And not
contract couldn't
only
be
money
bigger.
laundering, also child trafficking
Yes.
too.
The
Somebody just
contract
put
could
it
not
in and
be
said he
bigger.
pledged Haiti as a money laundering
Mhm.
business and also child sex trafficking too.
Well, the Dominican Republic is a prosperous country, you know, uh, compared to Haiti. Haiti is still very poor. Um, Gangs are running the streets. Um, the conditions are terrible there, and it is a humanitarian crisis. I mean, let's be honest, it is.
But they're not stepping in.
They've had
We're not stepping in. We're just bringing them here.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That
And
doesn't fix
anything,
it.
you can't throw money at the problem. You have to bring people with some wherewithal to try to help a struggling country to become more like less like a third world country, and modernize. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And there's been no effort to do that, clearly.
None at all.
Clearly.
And you have to think about it. They got the same beaches. Why isn't tourism something that if it was advantageous for any nation to be able to get something out of Haiti, Haiti would not be in the situation that it's in. Like, that's just the reality of it. But they know they can't control Haitian people. Like, you just can't do that. You just can't go up in there and say, okay, so we're going to go ahead. You be broke as hell. They enterprising as hell. They're very, very resourceful with what little that they have.
And
What's in
I
it
know
for
one
them?
thing. I know one thing from my food bank. Them Haitian old ladies come here. They strong as hell. They can lift up 20
Yes, they
pound bags
can.
of potato and slap another 15 pounds on top of their head. So
Yeah.
them, and they like 80 years old. So those ladies are, woo,
No,
they strong
you
as
don't mess
hell.
with them. You don't
They're
mess with them.
resilient, you know, and they're not bagging down. Those people gonna fight.
And
One thing
Yes.
Haitians
gonna
are
fight.
very proud people also,
But
you know,
y'all,
and
what
they're
we gonna
very
do?
smart, very smart.
What
We
we
are
gonna
very
do? We're
smart
gonna wrap
people.
up this show. We're gonna wrap up this show.
Aw.
Yeah, it's been an hour and a
It
half. So I'm gonna
hasn't
say
been just
this.
10 minutes.
What's your view count? What's your view count? Did you get a lot of people on today?
Yeah, of course, of course. It's over 2,000 people up here now. But let
Hi,
me say this,
everybody.
y'all. Hey, everybody. But so let me say this, y'all. We gotta fight for this country.
Yes.
We need to support Trump. That's very
Yes.
important. But Trump also needs some real people on
In
his
the
team.
communities, getting them streets, y'all. I'm here. I'm in Connecticut, and Connecticut is innately red, but y'all ain't here. Y'all ain't here empowering the right people. I lost an earring. That happens. Y'all ain't empowering the right people to go through the streets of Connecticut. If y'all ain't here, the Democrats are just going to sit down and say, yeah, they're not here. So, Laura, Donald, Don Jr., holla at Connecticut. There is a lot to be stirred up in Connecticut with representation for people that are conservative by nature that are voting Democrat. So don't lose that investment. Come through because we need you here. Absolutely.
That's right. And team, y'all need to stay focused, Laura Luma, and the rest of
Yeah.
y'all. We don't need this cat
Is
fight
Laura
shit
Loomer
going on.
on here?
Y'all
Is
need to
she on here?
focus.
Is Laura
Huh?
Loomer on here? Laura Loomer?
No.
Loma, she
Oh,
ain't coming here.
okay.
She gonna stay in that corner of the world where a megaphone gets results. To each its own.
Well,
Lavern's out here feeding people.
that megaphone shit ain't gonna work in the hood because people don't want to hear that shit. You got to come face to face and talk to
Yes.
us in this community, and that's what
Yes.
we need. So I'm saying this, I'm closing, but I would like to thank everybody for
Thank
joining
you.
us today on Hood Conservatives on the Lavern Spicer Show, and I would like to thank my guest Sophia and also Sandra for coming on to share your thoughts. And thank you, Amarosa, and all our guests that are in the audience. Thank you all so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
And remember, we got to continue to fight for this country, y'all. Don't fall for Kamala's bullshit. Don't fall for the cooking in the collard greens bullshit, because all that's all it is. We got to keep fighting. Us women need to stick together and fight for this country. We got to keep pushing against the Democratic lies and against their bullshit. Okay? And also got to fight against the deep state and then the
Yes.
Union Party and everybody
Yes.
else that has these agendas, and also these people that are in high places knowing spiritual wickedness. Well, I'm binding them up right now in the name of the Most High God, and we gonna fight and continue doing what we need to do.
And we
Okay, so
are going back. We're going back to make
going back,
America
moving
great
forward.
again.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. So
Absolutely.
So y'all, we shutting this down for today. We'll see y'all next week, Thursday, same place, same time, right here on X. Follow all of my girls on their platform. Sandra, you'll find her information, and Sophia, her information. Y'all follow them on Twitter also, okay? Thank you for joining us today. Have a great
Thank
day,
you,
y'all.
Thanks,
Laverne.
everybody. Thank you, Laverne. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.